Hi, guys. Thanks for listening. This is my third episode of my first series of podcasts called Weight Loss Unlearning Diet. So, my last episode was about breaking down the diets. So, I talked a lot about the keto diet, why it's a diet, why people are doing it, why people see results, but also why it's not sustainable and why we shouldn't rely on those extreme diets like keto in order to lose weight or quote unquote be healthy. And at the end, I delved in a little bit to the Mediterranean diet, which I don't really like to say it's a diet because it is more of a lifestyle of eating due to geographical location. It's a way of life and eating in the Mediterranean areas and countries like Italy and Greece, where they use fresh local produce and wild caught fish. Not so much red meat, maybe once a week or even twice a week. Whole grains, fresh and local ingredients. Okay, it's a balanced lifestyle. You eat some pizza, you eat some vegetables and salads. That pizza is not going to make you gain weight because you're enjoying it. You're not, eating it all day and at a fatty, greasy place. So it's more of a balanced lifestyle. So today I'm going to talk about Nutrition 101 and going back to basics in order to lead a healthier lifestyle through foods. And also for weight loss. When I put somebody on a nutrition plan for weight loss, I don't like to cut a lot of things like carbs. It's just very unsustainable and it's not what our body needs. If we look at the physiology of our body and, what I studied in my didactic program, which is a coursework in college about nutrition and dietetics, which is based off of a lot of research and set guidelines by the government. So the dietary guidelines for Americans recommends that we get all three essential macronutrients. And they kind of set a percentage for, a healthy American. And a lot of people have their own thoughts about this, and that's fine. But I just, want to put it out there that this is based off of research and years of research. And every couple years, I think they cut it to 2, it is redeveloped. All right, so this is basic science that our body needs 3 essential, what is called macronutrients that provide our body with energy. These 3 macronutrients are protein, fat, and carbohydrates. They make up the foods that we eat, right? Carbs, pasta. If you look at pizza, right? The dough is our carbs. The cheese can be our fat and a little bit of carbs. The tomato is a little bit of that vegetable, and the cheese also has that fat. And if you put some meat on it, it's protein. That's great. That's the 3 essential macronutrients. It's not so great because it could be fried, have a lot of oils and a lot of calories, right? But in moderation, it's okay and can be part of the foods that you eat, especially if you make it at home, which we'll go into a little later. So different foods contain different amounts of these macronutrients. Now, I like to stress that all these macronutrients, protein, fat, and carbs, are used in almost all systems of your body. You break down carbs for energy, for fuel. You store it in your muscles. You use protein and fat when you don't have any carb storage left to use up energy. Your brain uses fat for insulation around the nerves. Protein, your liver uses it. All organs and systems in your body use protein, fat, and carbs. They each contain a different amount of energy per gram, thus calories, okay? They protein has 4 calories per gram. So that's when you're calculating, how much protein is in chicken. 20 grams times 4 calories, you're going to get 80 calories in 20 grams of weighed chicken. So let's go down, breaking down each of these macronutrients that are essential, okay? We should all be getting them. It depends on how much you're getting, okay? That's what's going to determine your weight loss, okay? So if you're getting too much of anything, really, too much fat, too much carbs, it's going to be stored in your body if it's not burning it as energy or in your cell metabolism. So protein, the body needs protein for building and repairing tissues and muscle. It's used for cellular communication. It's used for enzyme reactions. When you're breaking down foods in your digestive system. It's great for the immune system. Not even great, it's essential to the immune system. All these cellular reactions and metabolic processes are using all of these macronutrients. Okay, so foods that are, that have protein is mainly animal products like red meat, fish, poultry. That could be from steak to turkey to chicken to lamb. Okay, also eggs, beans, legumes, and some soy products like tofu, and even nuts and peanut butter have protein. Okay, so the dietary guidelines recommends that you get about 10 to 35% of your caloric intake to be protein. Now, it depends on the grams, and this changes by person. So I don't really like the guidelines because everybody is different. These macronutrient levels and guidelines are based off of your current weight, your goal weight, and your activity level, okay? So if you are an athlete, working out 2 hours a day, you need more protein. If you're want to gain muscle and be strong for a lifting competition, bodybuilding, you want more protein. So it depends on your lifestyle. It depends on your fitness goals, your health goals. It depends what health conditions you have. If you have diabetes, you want a little bit more protein than carb ratio, which we'll go into a little later. All right, let's talk about fat. Fat helps a person store energy. So that's where our body stores energy with is fat. It protects your nerves for your brain. It regulates your hormones. It aids in nutrient absorption. It helps regulate your body temperature. And high fat foods include butter, oils, any oils, avocados, which is a healthier fat, nuts, fatty fish, meat, peanut butter. So there's healthy fat and unhealthy fat, which I'll break down a little bit. So if you obviously want fat in your diet, but you want to keep the majority, a high percentage of healthy fat. These healthy fats are called unsaturated fats. These can be formed as monounsaturated fats and polyunsaturated fats. They're mostly liquid, so they're oils. They're your olive oils. They're your avocado, nuts, seeds. So those nuts, seeds, avocados, and oily fish like salmon contain these healthy fats. Also flaxseed, chia seeds have these as well. So these are the healthy fats. This should be the highest percentage in your diet. These healthy fats have many health benefits that include, helping your heart, lowering the risk of heart conditions like atherosclerosis. They just stick less to the walls of your arteries and things like that. So the so-called bad fats, which it's okay to have in your diet, there's just a limit. Everything has a limit. They are called saturated fats. They are mostly solid at room temperature. These are mostly in your animal products, okay? They are your red meats, some dairy and cheese products. So the American Heart Association puts a limit of the grams of saturated fats that you should have. Around 2.5 grams should be on the label of the serving that you're having, okay? So no more than 2.5 grams on that serving label of saturated fats. All right, so fats, again, are essential. And I like to tell people that fats are essential, right, in our metabolic processes, nerves, insulation, all of that. But it's also important for satiety. What is satiety? Satiety is feeling full. It connects our brain, that emotional part of our brain saying, hey, this is good. I'm full. I am satisfied with this meal. That's why cheese is satisfying. When you add olive oil to cooking, it's satisfying. So I always tell people, especially for weight loss, to add a small amount of healthy fats. Some feta cheese on a salad can really dive into that craving part of our brain saying, hey, this is good. And it helps you feel full longer. I guess I'll add this in before we go into carbs, that adding a protein and a fat at the same meal with a high carb food like pasta, potatoes, rice, lowers the glycemic index. AKA, if you have no idea what that is, it is healthier for you. That is a healthy, well-balanced meal that can help in weight loss, help insulin levels. It makes the carb healthier. You can think of it that way. Adding protein and fat to a carbohydrate at a meal helps lower the glycemic index, lowering your blood sugar spike, keeping you fuller longer, keeping you more energized longer, keeping you satiated. All right, we're going to move into carbs. Carbs are made up of sugars, starches, and fiber. The healthiest one of that is fiber. Okay, carbs. Listen, carbs are the body's main source of energy. It's the body's first source of energy. If you're going for a run, it's going to grab those carbs first. If you're getting up to walk your dog, it's going to grab those carbs first. Okay, do not be scared of carbs. Italians eat a lot of pasta and pizza, and most of the country does not have the obesity rates that America does. Now, that is many factors. I really don't like when people do that comparison, Americans unhealthy. There's so many factors. There's lifestyles. They take a 5-hour break during the day and they get to go home and eat and relax. We don't. Okay. So there's so many lifestyle factors that goes into it. It's not because they eat pasta and pizza all day. They eat pasta and pizza in moderation. They enjoy those carbs. They make it healthy. They make it homemade. Even their carbs, their grains are processed differently. They probably have less processing than our facilities here in America. So there's so many other factors, okay? But the main point here is that carbs are our main source of energy. When we don't have that source of energy, it starts to break down fat. So fat stored in our body, which is good if you're losing weight. It takes more energy for your body to break down that fat, so thus you're going to burn more calories. Your body starts to break down fat over carbs also when you are working out, let's say around 90 minutes or more, okay? Then your body will break down protein, which is stored in your muscles, so it can have some issues there. You can have some health issues when you're breaking down too much protein. That happens a lot in malnutrition, people with eating disorders like anorexia, and kidney problems, the elderly, that happens. So it's a lot of things going on there. So the easiest form of energy to burn is carbs. It's great. That's why We give athletes gummy bears and those little Gatorade gummy bears. That's why they have Gatorade to work out, because they're going to go faster. They're going to go stronger because it's super efficient in burning energy. It does it really fast. Your body takes that energy, boom, you're on a sprint. So it's efficient. It's the main source of energy. Carbs contain 4 calories per gram, and you should get around 40% to 65% of your daily calories from carbs. That's basically half. And most of us, people that are on a diet, are probably getting like 20% or 10, right? They're told to eat 100 grams a day, which is not enough. You're going to get fatigued. You're going to feel dizzy. You're going to be super, super tired. There's a lot of effects of eating low carbs. It can help with losing weight. It can help with fast weight loss. If that's your last resort and you really need to lose weight for that wedding, which I have a lot of thoughts about that style. I'm not going to judge right now, but do you? If you need that, go on a low carb diet, to be honest. It's going to be the fastest for you. You're going to lose water weight first. You're cutting out a whole food group. So it's fast. It is. So the problem with carbs, the scary part, is that a lot of the carbs we're eating or given in America is highly processed, and they have less nutrients. That's your cookies, your bread, your snacks, your chips, things like that. So I always try to tell people when they're losing weight that carbs are good, but you want to pick your carbs, the so-called good carbs. Now, I don't really like the good or bad foods. It's just these are more nutritious. You're getting more bang for your buck, okay? You want to have fibrous carbs. Oatmeal is great. They say it helps lower cholesterol. Yeah, you want to know why? Because it includes fiber. There's no magic fairy dust in it, like Honey Nut Cheerios. There's no magic fairy dust in it that lowers cholesterol. There's no heart pills that are crushed up in there. It's literally fiber, and fiber is natural. It's an essential nutrient. You also need 25 grams a day, okay, for healthy bowel movements, and it lowers your cholesterol because fiber attaches to cholesterol and excretes it in your stool. All right, so there are many nutritious carbs out there which are based on whole grains and fiber. Potatoes, you want to keep the skin on. Apples, you want to keep the skin on. Fruits and vegetables, keep the skin on. That adds to fiber. It lowers the glycemic index, aka it's healthier for you. When you're having carbs, you have insulin resistance, you want to lose weight, try adding a small amount of protein and fat with it so that it lowers your blood sugar. So your blood sugar doesn't spike as high, which can cause other problems. There's some studies that if you're always having your blood sugar spike high, that could lead to diabetes and insulin resistance. Okay, so we're going back to the basics here. These macronutrients all comprise of calories, okay? So you tell people you need all these macronutrients, but you need to lose weight. How do you do this? I mean, how can you possibly eat all these macronutrients? You're telling me to eat fat and carbs, and how can I lose weight? Well, it's all in the amount. That's it. It's simple. It's all in the amount. So the amount of each of these is going to compromise of calories. So at the end of the day, it's all calories. The most calories per gram is going to be like the per gram, there's the highest amount of calories in fat. That's 9 calories, while protein and carb have equal, which is 4 calories per gram. So fat has the highest gram. That means, a 1 ounce piece of cheese is going to have more calories than a 1 ounce piece of dough, of bread, or, things like that. All right. So we really want to focus here on the quantity of these foods you're eating. So first we focused on the quality, right? The more nutritious carbs, the more nutritious fats, right? So you got that. Now we need the quantity. So how much you're intaking, which is tricky for a lot of people. I'm just going to give you a quick little thing that a serving of carbohydrates like rice, pasta, potatoes, breads, that is going to be a fistful. That's a serving. So that is how much you should have at each meal, and everybody is a little different. So all of these macronutrients equal calories. If you're losing weight, you want to look at what you've been eating and cut 500 calories per day. Why? Because in a total of 7 days, if you cut 500 calories a day, that means you're cutting a total a week, 3,500 calories. 3,500 calories equal 1 pound, whether you're gaining or losing. So if you're cutting 500 calories a day in a week, that's 3,500 calories. You're cutting a pound a week, which is a healthy, sustainable weight loss for your body and for your mind. You want to go for a slow and steady weight loss, which is 1 to 2 pounds per week. And you do that by cutting 500 calories a day. That's the easiest, the most sustainable. You could cut your calories by cutting foods or exercising or doing both. So you can cut 200 calories by not eating that pasta and then run for 300 calories, or vice versa, things like that. So that's why all of these diets that we talked about in the second podcast are alive, because it's just a creative way of cutting calories, and it's calories in versus calories out. It could be very confusing, but all of these macronutrients, everybody, according to their body type, their goals, their health conditions, everybody's quantity of these 3 macronutrients are going to be different. Again, if you have diabetes, you shouldn't cut carbs because you need to help your insulin levels. So you just want to monitor the quantity. You want to pair that carb at your meal with a protein and a fat. You want to have a, not so big amount. You want to have fibrous and nutritious carbs rather than white, processed, non-nutritious carbs. For those with no diabetes, you don't have to look at it too much, the quantity, but again, you want balance. So we're going back to basics, okay? So I like to teach people the basics of nutrition. What does your body need? You want to think about fueling your body. So you want to think about that simple act of fueling your body. You don't want to go too extra with it being excessive because you're depriving, you're binging. And your body's going to crave it. When people say, oh my gosh, I cut calories and I cut carbs and all I do is think about pasta and this and that. Guess what? Your body's craving carbs because it's the first source of energy that it uses. It's essential. Your body is like, excuse me, I've been using carbs all these years for energy. Now what do now I have to do break down protein and fat. I mean, it's exhausting. Give me something. So, I just think that some people who are listening to all these, gurus or fad diets are just getting super, super confused when, and some of these people are saying, let's go back to basics and live simply. No carbs. I mean, that's not going back to basics. Going back to basics is your body using carb as its first source of energy. So I just think we all need to take a step back and, look at what our body needs. And I think after you set your mind right, you learn about the fad diets, why they're there, how they trick you, do they work, blah, blah, blah. Then you can learn, okay, let me step back. What is my body feeling? What does it need? What health conditions do I have? What's my goal? Ask yourself those questions, and I will dive into details next time. of breaking down the biggest, scariest macronutrient of all, which is carbs. Thanks for listening. I will see you next time. Hope you learned something. Stay strong.